Hello and welcome. This is Group C from the Insights program run by the University of Edinburgh, presenting you with a timeline of how coronavirus has affected our workplace, education, and mental health. We're going to talk about these areas before the pandemic, at the time of the pandemic, at the time of this presentation, and what will happen once the pandemic is over. So let's take a look at what happened before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, there were a limited amount of companies which encouraged people to work from home. But that was only specific to industries where this was possible. For example, in software development, in tech, and also in writing. And we can see that there was already an increase year by year, but the increase was much less than 1%. However, we see a massive change from 2019 to 2020, up to 66% increase of the amount of employed people working from home in the European Union, according to Eurostat. And we see that while the trend was already happening, we can see that the pandemic only accelerated this effect. So now we're seeing what happened before the pandemic. And now we're going to have a look at what's happening right now. Which industries are affected and how the education is affected right now. Specifically, here in the UK, we can see some very interesting facts. Up to 60% of the people work from home at its peak. And this figure was taken back in 2020 in June. And we see that currently there is up to 84% of the university students who are doing all their lessons online. And we can see that staying home is not easy for many people and can have many impacts in their health, including 20% of those people having experienced mental health problems since the pandemic began. And now we can move to the US and we can see the job market. And we can see that there are certain industries which are having higher demand than others. And we can see the software development and data entry has a higher demand than other industries. And we can see that placements in those industries can be done remotely. And we can see that there are many companies in the tech field recruiting many workers compared to other industries. And these statistics are related back to February, and we can see that there's a 30% increase of recruitment in the tech field compared to February, as well as 15% when it comes to multimedia placements. And this can relate to the fact that there were only 20% of the people who work from home before the pandemic, and this increased up to 71% in the US, and from those 54% are willing to keep working from home after the pandemic will end. And this is due because many people found it to be more affordable to stay from home, more convenient, and more flexible. And this is why many companies want to improve their infrastructure so their employees can work effectively from home. And now we can see some trends which were quickly accelerated by the effect of the pandemic. We can see a very fast increase for working remotely. We can also take a look at the technological aspect, and since people had to work from home, they had to quickly adapt into using the internet more often, which includes online services such as the cloud to get the work done, and for students to become more familiar with learning by using online courses and online lectures. And we can also observe the impact that the pandemic had to the planet as a whole, and because of the lockdowns, there was much less carbon dioxide emitted to the atmosphere, which makes people more aware of the climate change, which means that more companies are aware more than ever of the impact in the environment. We can also have a look at the education and how the pandemic affected students in more details. And we can see in the UK alone, 18.3% of the students found difficult to access online materials. And this can be the effect of the students having to adapt into the online learning environment very fast in order to get their work done. And we have to say that many students in schools had to miss lessons as to the result of that. And because students had to isolate, there were lack of societies where the students could socialize online with their peers. And this can be also an effect in the university level, where many societies had to take time to adapt into the online environment in order to provide events online. Many of the university staff felt overwhelmed because of the very rapid change from physical to online environment and the need to keep their students engaged with a universal learning environment. And we also have to mention about homeschooling. Due to the lockdown, many elementary schools and high schools had to impose online learning so students won't miss lessons. You can also have a look at the survey asking about how the workload will affect it in the future, and many students said that the workload will increase in the upcoming months and weeks, but it will decrease in the next 3 years, where the pandemic hopefully will be gone. Now that we have seen how the pandemic affected work and education, we can have a look at how it affected mental health. And as a result, in March and April, where many countries were imposing lockdowns, many people had to change their activities and habits in order to adapt into the new environment, doing everything from home. And many people, because of that, struggled to adapt into this new environment, causing mental health problems to many individuals. And as a result of this, 69% of adults in the UK were worried about the effect of the coronavirus in their daily life. And this can affect their choices, their activities, their work, and their family. And this can be seen by a survey conducted by ONS, asking individuals how happy did they feel in the previous day. We can see that in February 2020, before the lockdown level, that people were mostly happy, but as a result of the lockdowns in March, people were less happy, but they were happier during the summer, where the restrictions were less, but also happiness levels also dropped back in February because of the strict lockdown measures. But happiness levels are increasing right now because of the restrictions have become less and less strict. So what will happen once the pandemic is over? We have seen all the benefits from working from home, including convenience, decreased costs, and the flexibility. And we believe that in the future, the workplace will turn into more of a hybrid approach. So there will be periods where people have to stay home, and only for certain occasions they will have to be physically present in the office. So let's have a look at an overview of what we have said so far. So we see studying, we can see online lectures, students are going to be getting skills online, going through some online courses. We have seen the effects of mental health, which is the top reason for individuals missing work, which gives a very good reason for businesses to offer better support to certain individuals. And they can save up to 8 billion in total by doing so. Because people who have mental health and they're absent to the work, this can reduce the efficiency of certain businesses. And it's unfortunate to say that 300,000 people with mental health problems lose their job annually. And we can see as a result of that how important is well-being and mental health to our daily lives and work. We can also see important trends coming to job performance by doing other commitments, for example, homeschooling. And since we're moving to a new environment, to a more hybrid approach of workplace, there will be new work policies need to take place. And as a result of this, we see that there's an increase of importance for providing, and we also see a very fast rise of the cybersecurity field. So there's an increased need for businesses to provide a safer online workplace for individuals who prefer to work from home. This presentation was brought to you by the help from the Insights program, and we would like to thank you for listening.